When we think about air pollution, most of us think about what's happening outside, right? We think about the traffic, the smog, maybe factories in the neighborhood or someplace close by. Or if you're living in a big city, maybe it's the haze hanging over the city. But what if the air inside your home isn't as fresh as you think? What if some of the things we're doing to make our home smell fresh are actually contributing to the air we're breathing every day? Today, we're talking about the quality of the air inside our homes, where it comes from, what's affecting it, and a few simple things we can do to make it better.
Are you eating well, moving your body, maybe even reading labels and still thinking, I'm doing all the healthy things, so why do I still feel off? If that's you, you're in the right place. Welcome to Start Living Sustainable, the podcast where your health finally gets the foundation the other pillars need to work. Because what you're exposed to in your home and on your body is quietly raising your toxic load and forcing your food and fitness to work harder than they should. Hi, I'm Cynthia, a non-toxic lifestyle strategist who learned the cost of exposure the long way, years before most women even know to look. Now you can start where I wish I could have, so your body can respond to the work you're already doing, not fight against it. Because when your foundation is supported, your sleep, hormones, clarity, and even your workouts finally catch up with your intentions without turning your life into a project. If you're ready, let's begin.
Because here's the thing. We can't see air, right? But we're breathing it in every single day. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to be a guest expert on another podcast. And we were talking about indoor air quality, textiles and materials and other things, and what we bring into our homes every single day. And honestly, it was such a great conversation. What I found interesting was that we started talking about air quality, but before long, we were talking about hormones, fertility, endocrine disruptors, sleep, and even men's hormonal health. And it just reminded me how connected all of these things really are. We tend to think about health as something that happens in our bodies, but our environment plays a role too. The air that we breathe, the products that we use, the fabrics that we sit on, and the mattress we sleep on every night, the spaces we spend most of our time in. So today I wanted to stay focused on just one piece of that conversation, the air inside our homes. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you thought about the air inside your house? Not whether or not the temperature felt good, not whether the room smelled nice. I'm talking about the actual quality of the air. Most of us don't think about it. And honestly, that's understandable because we can't see it. If there were labels floating around our living room showing us everything moving through the air, we'd probably pay more attention to it. But because we can't see it, we often assume everything is fine. Now, when we talk about indoor air quality, what are some of the things that contribute to it? Well, we've got candles, and a lot of people use plug-ins. We've got laundry products, cleaning products, room sprays, aerosol products. And then there's cooking, your pets. But depending on what you're cooking and how we're cooking it, that can affect the air inside our homes too, right? Then we have the things we don't always think about. The unupholstery on our furniture, the foam cushions in the couch and on our bed, the adhesives that, yes, are in different products in our home, the finishes on those same furniture pieces, the carpet, the rugs, the curtains, the list goes on. And my expertise, of course, is in textiles. So I really look at and understand how textiles are used throughout our homes and how they are also sending off emissions and off-gassing, depending on the type of material it is. And as someone who spent years working in fashion and textiles, I can tell you there's a lot more going on with materials that most people don't realize. And if you've got little ones, they're crawling on those surfaces, on the floor, on the carpet, rolling around, playing on the floor, right? Kicking up dust and whatever else may have settled there. Then there's what comes from outside, the pollen, the dirt, the dust, the pet dander, the microplastics, even the particles from the ground outdoors. And yes, whatever we're tracking in on the bottom of our shoes, all of those things can be found in the air in our homes. When you start thinking about all of them together, you begin to realize that the air inside our homes is influenced by a lot more than whether we cracked open the window in the morning to get some fresh air, even though that's a good idea. But the interesting part is that most of it is completely invisible. We don't see what's floating around in the air, but we're breathing it every day. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is the idea that if something smells fresh, it must be making the air fresher. But those aren't necessarily the same things. Just because your nose detects a scent doesn't mean the air quality improved. Sometimes all we've done is add another fragrance to the mix in the air that's already there. I always find it a little funny when I hear names like ocean breeze, mountain spring, fresh linen, or tropical escape. Because let's be honest, most of us aren't standing in a tropical paradise. We're standing in the hallway next to the laundry room. What we're often smelling isn't fresh mountain air, it's chemistry. Our noses may enjoy it, but our bodies still have to process it. Now, this isn't about being afraid or wondering what is it that I need to do to get rid of some of this stuff floating around in my air. And it's definitely not about perfection, but it is about awareness. It's about understanding that every product, every material, every habit contributes something to the living, breathing environment we're creating inside our homes. Some contribute more than others, and that's why paying attention matters. I do have air purifiers in several of the rooms in my house, and every time I go to change the filter, I'm reminded of something. All that dust, pollen, fibers, particles that are trapped in the filter were floating around in the air at one time. I just couldn't see them. But every time I pull out a dirty filter, I have the same thought. I'd much rather have that filter collecting those particles than my lungs. For those who are especially sensitive to air quality, HEPA filtration can be a great option because it's designed to capture the very tiny, small particles that would otherwise continue circulating throughout the air. And even if you don't have allergies or sensitivities, cleaner air benefits all of us because every breath we take matters. If there's one thing I encourage you to do after listening to this episode, it's simply to become more aware of what's contributing to the air inside of your home. Don't worry about everything. Just start noticing things. What are you spraying? What are you burning in your home? What are you plugging in? What products are you using every day that may be contributing to the quality of air in your home? Because sometimes the biggest improvements don't come from doing more. They come when you start thinking about things differently and become more intentional. One of the reasons I enjoy speaking, teaching, and having conversations around topics like this is because there's always another layer. Today we're talking about air quality, but we haven't even touched on how indoor air quality intercepts with sleep, hormone, fertility, immune function, textiles, and your overall well-being. Those are conversations for another day. But for now, I hope this episode simply encourages you to look at your home environment differently because we may not be able to see the air in our homes, but we're breathing it in every minute of every day. And the quality of that air matters. If you're interested, I'd love to share a link with you in the show notes down below for a product that I discovered that will neutralize the air in your home. It's a product I personally use in my own home because it helps me maintain a fresher indoor environment without relying on synthetic fragrances, sprays, candles, or plug-ins. Proverbs 27:12 says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and paying the penalty." For me, this is not about fear. It's about awareness. It's about stewardship. It's about paying attention to the things we can influence and making informed choices, just one little step at a time. Until next time, be sensitive to what you surround yourself with, what you bring into your home. Take care of your home and keep taking small steps towards a healthier life. I'll see you back here next week for another episode of Start Living Sustainable.
Thanks for listening to Start Living Sustainable. If this episode met you where you are, share it with a friend who might also need it as well. Your voice helps more women find the foundation they've been missing. Until next time, feeling lighter never goes out of style.